Mitchell's trying to get between. Spent the last 2 years together, and then the push.
Basketball is not a sport for the faint-hearted. It's a rough game, and NBA has always had its fair share of villains. Dennis Rodman in the 90s, Ron Artest in the 2000s, and maybe Lance Stevenson in the 2010s. Compared to the old times, the game has got much friendlier now. Instead of being at each other's faces, players can be mostly seen hugging it out after a game. But we can't say we have fully lost the good old days, as at least one man seems to be trying to turn back the clock. It's the Grizzlies shooting guard Dylan Dynasty Brooks. He has worked pretty hard for the title of the most hated player in the NBA. Imagine attacking Mike Conley when he was lying on the ground, stepping over him and even getting him heated in games. Of all people, Mike Conley is one of the nicest guys in the NBA, with multiple NBA sportsmanship awards and a recipient of the Teammate of the Year award. Not only is he the nicest guy, who is also Dylan's former teammate at Memphis. When asked about this incident, Conley, being the scholar that he is, said, "Dylan plays with passion. A bit too much, don't you think?" Donovan Mitchell, who put in 71 points versus the Lakers in January this season, didn't have a pleasant outcome against Dylan Brooks. He got sacked down low by Brooks, and the replays showed it was no accident. Dylan knew exactly what he was doing. The Grizzlies star was handed over a one-match suspension for his arm swinging. When asked if he felt Dylan cheap shot him, Donovan Mitchell said, "That's exactly the kind of player Dylan is. It's silly when you can't guard somebody and you resort to such antics. Dylan has done it many times to other players like Steph Curry and Damian Lillard." Brooks and Stu Curry, isn't that a love story? Whenever he gets a bucket on him or blocks his shot, Brooks always gets in the face of Curry. We love to see a hard-fought duel, and trash talks make for great entertainment. But things got out of hand when Brooks almost injured the two-time MVP in the 2022 playoffs. This is why Klay Thompson interfered, and ever since then, even Klay, another gentleman of the NBA, hates Dylan Brooks. Warriors fans have more reasons to hate Dylan Brooks. The fans have still not forgiven him for the reckless attack on Gary Payton II in the 2022 playoffs. It's not just opponent players that are on the receiving end of Brooks' antics. He even got into it with a media personality at a Lakers game. And not too long after this, he went full-on Dennis Rodman mode and shoved a cameraman who was just doing his job. Trash talking is one thing, but this is pretty low even by his standards. Let's go back to the NBA players that Dylan Brooks has gotten into with James Harden, Joel Embiid, Nikola Jokic, Anthony Edwards, and the list continues. It's safe to say in the last 2 years alone, Dylan Dynasty Brooks has gotten into an altercation with half the All-Star team. And you know what's the best part? He's only getting started. He's only entering his prime. Who do you want to see him face off against next? Trae Young? SGA? Maybe Giannis? Leave your thoughts in the comments. It's players like Dylan Brooks that made the NBA more entertaining. In this case, he needs to be careful that things don't get too personal.